Good evening. Patrick here, Eight Questions With. That's right. We're here. We're back. Um, sorry about last night. We had some problems last night. Just things happened. Our guest was not able to appear last night. I did not find that out till literally like too late to do anything about it. So unfortunately, we had to reschedule it, and I didn't have time to pull a rabbit out of my ass as far as a guest goes. So yeah, uh, it happens. Um, but we'll reschedule Ashley at a later date. Actress producer Ashley Undercuffler. We will reschedule her uh, 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 down the road. Here's our good friend Steven is here, and our future guest for Women in Horror Month, the lovely author Jennifer P. Tuck. She will be here in Women in Horror Month. That's right. That's right. Anthony is here. He still got 708 subs. Anthony, I thought you said you were going to get 715 by tonight. I expect you to get 715 by Tuesday. So welcome to the show. Tonight we are talking to filmmaker and producer Mitch Laing. He is from the Louisiana area. He is got a new movie out called The Bogman, which is a Bigfoot movie, which is right up my alley. Super psyched about that. I love creature features. Creature features are so much fun, and so Mitch will be here in about 15 minutes, and we are going to tear it up. Yeah, that's fun. Louisiana has had there's a lot of good movies that based in the swamp area down New Orleans and Louisiana in general. It's almost you almost dare say it might even rival Florida as far as a perfect setting for a creature feature. Um, it's perfect. Georgia's not too bad either, but when you think of swampy areas and scary things that go bump in the night, you can't help but think of Louisiana, New Orleans. Uh, yeah, swamp cheetah. That's right. So you know what? Okay, so maybe there's not a swamp cheetah movie, but I did hear something though this week that should excite everybody. I hear that they're making a sequel to Zootopia. And as you know, we're going to be on the front lines trying to make sure they don't have a fat cheetah as a cop again. That's what they had in Zootopia. They had a fat cheetah, and it's like there's no such thing as a fat cheetah. Uh, Hi, Echo. How are you? Uh, cats have they're savage. They have blood claws. Yeah. Oh, what we need is another zombies. I get zombies every single night. Yeah, the cheater may be 12 and a half years old, but he still does zoomies every night. Um, so I'm really happy about tonight's show. He's going to be poor Echo. Oh my gosh. Uh, I'm very excited about tonight. Miss is going to be a great guest. We're going to talk. We're going to chop it up. He's a young go-getter. He's a family man. He also does some great. He also does. He writes his own movies. He produces them. And this is also a dual stream. This is a dual stream. Um, 1 second here. So we are doing Facebook. We are doing Facebook, and we are also doing, of course, YouTube here. So we are live on both. I hope that we're live. I think we're supposed to be live. Oh, of course, I went early, so maybe it won't start until. No, there we go. Oh, there. Wow. Okay. Hello, Serena. I see Serena is in. Awesome, awesome. So Serena is in the Facebooks. Glad to see you're here. Um, yes, yes. In fact, we got to do a little bit of calendar work too, because We only have 2 more shows to go. Actually, one more show. You know what? I take it back. I think Saturday is sort of going to be sort of like the unofficial kickoff of Women in Horror Month because we're interviewing a legend come Sunday or Saturday. Come Saturday, we are doing a legend. We're interviewing John Henderson, also known as Doomsday Crypt. You know John. He'll be joined by the Lost Leatherface, Brett Wagner, and we'll be joined by the lovely and sassy Beatrice Boppel will be here as well Saturday. Uh, that's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Not one heavy hitter, not two, but three. Um, and I can't wait to sink our teeth into this. It's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be a special 7 o'clock start on Saturday, 7 o'clock. So hit the notification button down in front of my page on my channel here. Hit notify me when I go live, and for any show, as a matter of fact, anytime you see that little button says notify me, hit that on all the interviews, so you won't miss any notifications of when we go live. I'm excited. I'm excited. I also have to sit there and say too, because not everybody is into horror icons. Sometimes people are into something else. So let me go ahead and ask our friend in the chat here, our good friend Steven, who also hosts the House of Horrors on Saturday. Let me ask him what they're doing on Saturday, the 25th, because they come on at 8 o'clock. And they might have something that might intrigue you there as well. So let me ask Stephen what they've got going on the 25th. I do know that on the 4th of March, they're kicking off Women in Horror Month on their station, on their channel, with an interview with Daniel Donahue. So I do know that's going to happen. And on the 11th of March, on his channel is going to be the lovely actress Jessica Cameron. So heavy hitters there. So there you go. But we ourselves, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready. So let me tell you what's coming up here, because everybody wants to know what we're doing. Because you know how we are. So February 28th, we are hosting the mighty cosplayer Vale will be here. Vale of Night Vale will be here. Extraordinary cosplayer. Extraordinary. I mean, it's amazing. The costumes she puts on. She'll be here, and we'll be talking about cosplay. We'll be talking about Resident Evil, acting, horror, whatever we can think of. We're going to be asking her, and I can't wait to talk to her so much. Very excited to do that, and she's going to be our unofficial kickoff to Women in Horror Month. Because why do I say that? Because we are kicking it off big in March. March 1st, Wednesday, we have the lovely Rainbow Fright will be here with us. DeRay from the Rainbow Fright YouTube channel will be with us at 8 o'clock, and we'll be talking all things horror, scary, and Stardust. And if anybody's ever seen a Rainbow Fright film review or a deep dive or analysis, you know what we're getting ourselves into here. It's going to be extraordinarily good, powerful, and I can't wait for it. And then we roll over to Thursday, March 2nd, and we got another heavy hitter on. We have Too Bad. Serena Saleri will be here with us, and she is also down in front of my channel. So if you hit the notification button, you can come see me and Serena chop it up. I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and Serena is already making an impact on our show. She has actually worked out something special for us in April, and I can't wait to bring that to you. But we'll wait and share that a little bit later on, because March is all about Women in Horror Month, right? That's why we go to horror films to see who's going to be the final girl, or the artist who's going to write about the final girl, or who directs it. On March 6th, We have actress Emily Whitcomb will be with us at 8 o'clock on a Monday. Emily Whitcomb will be here with us at 8 p.m. On the 7th, we have young actress Becky Rue will be with us. Another Ohio-based actress will be here. Oh, there's Serena right there. Yeah, yeah. We're ready. We're ready to rock. We're ready to roll. And we're so glad you guys are here in the chat. So Becky here will be with us on the 7th. Now, this will be Becky's first interview. This is going to be Becky's first interview. So I'm really am hoping that all you guys will roll out here and support her because, first interviews are really nerve-wracking. Hey, Professor, how are you, sir? Yes, me too. Have you guys seen her page, Vale's page? It's crazy. And she just got stilts. She got stilts. She actually stood on stilts. So she is really, truly Lady Dimitru. Crazy good. So Becky Rue will be here with us on the 7th. On the 8th, we have the lovely Audrey Neal will be here with us, and she has done a lot of fun movies, including the long-awaited sequel to a horror classic, cult classic. Let's see if I can say this right. The Slime-O-Rama. Oh boy, help me out here. Oh gosh, let me get this right. Let me get this right, because if I don't, I'll never hear the end of it. All right. Okay. All right. So, yes, here it is. So, Audrey is going to be one of the stars in the Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama 2. So that's a cult classic. Anybody's remembers the first film. It stars Brink Stevens, Michelle Bauer. This one has Kelly Maroney in it. It's going to be and Brink Stevens. So she will also be in that movie along with Audrey Neal. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking what it's like working with such horror icons as that. And then on the 9th of March, we have actress and producer and all-around superstar, at least, to us anyway. Carol Lynn Fortin will be here with us, and she is also from Louisiana. So that is our first 2 weeks of activities here on the channel for Women in Horror Month. We have more in store for you, but we'll go ahead and wait a little bit. All right. I hope so. I hope you guys all enjoy it because I enjoy bringing it. It's been a lot of fun doing so. Of course, booking Women in Horror Month is absolutely insane. It is the hardest month for me to book of all the shows I do every year. March is the hardest one. It was hard last year. It's hard this year. Stallone fan. Okay. Oh, no more Ed in movie room. Okay. There's nothing wrong with being a Stallone fan. I think we all are. That's well, except for the Running Man. I'm not a fan of the Running Man, so don't ask me. No. So I watched a new film. I got a new review up on the channel. We have I watched and reviewed a movie called Eloise from 2016 for Dollar Tree Theater. And I have to admit, that movie was a lot of fun. The real place that movie is based, they're talking about Eloise Psychiatric Hospital. It's about maybe like 6 or 7 miles away from me. It is a real place. It was a massive complex in its heyday. Now it's down to like 5 little buildings, but back in the day it was massive. It housed up to over 10,000 patients and 2,000 staff. So it's one of those haunted house type of movie with a little bit of urban exploration thrown in there, and it was very well acted. Robert Patrick is in it. He plays the mad doctor. And of course, we had Chase Crawford. He played our hero, Jacob Martin, and the always lovely Eliza Dushku. She played the femme fatale, the final girl, so to speak. And who doesn't love Eliza Dushku? Man, I don't know anybody who doesn't. All right, well, except for Michael Weatherly, he probably doesn't like her. All right, so let me go get our guest. He is here. He is in the room. So please give our young friend Mitch Laing a welcome here to Eight Questions With, and let's chop it up. Greetings,
Howdy.
greetings. Now, do we say Lang? Do we say Lang, or is there a different way for us to pronounce your name?
It's Laing. It's spelled all kinds of ways. Lang, Lange. The INGs.
As long as the name is right on the final credits, right?
Absolutely. And even sometimes it's been wrong.
Oh yeah, I've actually seen that before. I've actually seen a name go on there, and I know for sure that the name is spelled wrong. But you'll see it on the final credits roll up there, and you go like, I wonder how the artist feels when they go there. Get excited, show their friends and family and their peers. Look, I'm in the movie. Well, yeah, but who's this Alan Smythe guy?
And how many checks and balances and different people did it have to go through before it got to the credits, and then it still was wrong?
Yes. Well, could you imagine being the one being responsible though to make sure everybody's name is on the final credits of a Marvel movie or the Lord of the Rings movie? They have like 500 people there, and you wonder who's responsible for checking them all.
Somebody that doesn't get a lot of sleep.
Oh, but I bet they get a lot of good coffee. Okay, we have people saying hello. Our good friend Eccles saying hello, Mitch. Johnny Ringo in the chat saying he loves you.
Yeah, old Johnny Ringo. I know Ringo.
All right. Here we go. This is going to be a lot of fun. Those who can share us out, please do so. That will help the channel. Hit the like button, so to speak. If you're new to the channel, hit the sub button as well. That will also help the channel grow. I appreciate you guys are being here, and with our friend and director and producer Mitch Laing will be here. Thank you for doing this on short notice too.
Man, thank you for letting me do this.
We had a date in April, and I had a hole come up there, and I'm going like, Mitch, can you help me out? And you were very gracious enough to sit there and say, hell yeah, I can. And so here, see, who doesn't say movie directors don't ride to the rescue like the cavalry used to do? Yeah. So where are you exactly based in? What city are you closest based in?
We are Open Heart Productions is in the Northeast Louisiana, the Northeast corner. We are based out of the Twin Cities of Monroe and West Monroe.
Okay. Wow. So you're not that far away from Louisiana Monroe, the university, right?
Oh no, it's maybe 20 minutes away from where I live.
Wow. That's gonna be good. I have questions.
Okay. I didn't go to college, so I don't know how well I'd be able to inform you, but
yeah, but you got a good audience there. Is there like is there a good film industry there? I mean, no, really. Everybody goes down to New Orleans then, right?
In the Northeast Louisiana corner, I mean, there are plenty of content creators. There are plenty of YouTube channels and things like that. But as far as production companies getting together, planning, shooting, and releasing films, Open Heart Productions is kind of the only game in town at this point in time in the game.
Now, is that a good thing to you? Do you think that's good, or you think that hurts you?
I have a real love-hate relationship with my hometown.
You love to hate it?
I love it, and it hates me back. Because a lot of people claim to want to help the arts, but everyone wants to help until it's time to actually help. And then you kind of figure out who's real, who's not. And then at the end of the day, you kind of like, well, I guess it's really just depends on me and my friends and my family and my friends' family. And just, you know, you have to build your own network if you're an independent filmmaker, you know, especially if film isn't really known to be done in your area, you know. And a lot of the times, or at least in my case, what I did was I started tapping into the TV station and radio station pipeline. That's where I started. That's where I ended up working. I still work in television to this day. And 70% of the crew that works in Open Heart Productions is employed by the same TV station that I work for. So it's kind of all purpose.
I guess the one good thing about this, you know, yes, because that is a negative, you know, about everybody wants to join the party until they have to dig for it.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, though, is that you're the only game in town, which means your legacy will be rather large. I mean, when you put something together and put it out there, it's all you and your team. There's nobody out there can sit there and say, yeah, we were there for a minute. It's just you and all you. And
well, I mean, you've said it in the past, and I happen to agree with you. You can't wear all the hats, you know, and it can't be a one-man show, you know. Like, don't get me wrong, I've done that. In previous movies, I've done the thing where I wear all the hats and do all the things, and for longevity's sake, you can't do that all the time. You can do it the one time, and you can use that as just to show everybody else, like, listen, if I can do all of this, and you know me, and you know how big of a fuck up I am, and I can do this, well, then you can do this too. So let's go do it together.
Yeah, I just think, you know, I just think that you're gonna be I have a feeling you're the type of leader that your team will go with you to the ends, you know, to the end. I mean, if someone mentions, you know, when you put together your team and your project, and you get around your crew and your extras and what have you, I have a feeling they'll ride and die with you to the end.
You're not wrong. I am very blessed with my team of people that I have with me. You know, but I will say this, and they know this for a fact because they've seen me walk it in person. I never ask them to do anything that I am not willing to jump out there and do as well. You know, like you saw in the Bogman, I'm covered in blood and guts, and it's freezing cold half the time. I'm getting beat up by the Bogman. And that was kind of by design. So if anybody else was like, I don't know if I can do this, like, dude, you just watched me get thrown by the Bigfoot. If I can do that, you can let this rock crush your head.
Yeah, you can die on camera. Hey, if I have to go wrestle the Bigfoot, you can die on screen. That's not necessarily a bad idea. It's not a bad trade. That seems about right. That seems fair. The Bogman is a lot of fun. I love creature features. I love Sasquatches. You know, the crazier the better. You know, you know, whether it be like werewolves or
werewolves
or crazy mountain lions, or, you know, Black Panthers escape, or anything else like that. I'm all about that. You know, I'm all about the creature feature. So watching the Bogman and the love that went into making it, I'm down with it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man. It was a lot of fun to make. I mean, like, I've made this is my fourth full-length feature, and it was hands down the funnest of all the stuff that I've ever worked on.
That, you know, it's supposed to get easier though, Mitch, right? Isn't have you found that to be true, that every movie that you've worked on, everything has gotten a little bit easier, and it comes, you know, before, like your first movie, everything comes at you at 100 miles an hour. The second movie, maybe 80 miles an hour. By the fourth, it's down to like 50. I mean, you know what to do, how to do it, what to expect, when to expect it. You know, the only probably thing that it's probably been a constant, as far as, you know, like, you know, like, oh shit, here we, you know, that comes up, and that's probably the financing. But as far as the actual making of the movie, though, I bet you find it to be relatively slow now.
Well, you're half right. it does not feel like it ever slows down. The difference is each movie you feel more and more prepared for it. And like things that you had to deal with the previous movie, you already have your ears and eyes peeled for those things. And so whenever it does inevitably happen, it's like, well, we'll just fix it this way. And then you just move on. So it doesn't slow down. It still is coming at you with both feet. But at least by the time you've done it a few times, you're expecting the hits. You're already kind of half dodging them, you know.
Right. So let's go back a little bit before we go back to talk about the Bogman in detail. But were you born and raised in Monroe in your area? So
I'm a Wheezy boy.
So this is your home. This is your stomping grounds.
Oh yeah.
So is it a small enough town where everybody knows who you are?
No, we're still between Monroe, West Monroe, and a couple of the surrounding little townships. We're still an 80,000, 100,000 plus population. And so I'm a TV personality. I work at the TV station. I'm a radio personality. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a small level of local acclaim that people might know me from, but it really doesn't feel that way, because, this Monroe they have a very, all right, I'll put it to you like this. I watched the interview that you did with Miss Laing. And she talked about how the NOLA community really is a community where people come together and they share resources, they share information, they share knowledge. They all are working together for a common goal, just as long as it's artistic. And that is not what I am used to.
A little bit, but then again, you're the only one there. I mean, you're not competing for resources. You're not competing for talent. You're not competing for crew. I mean, you basically you had the pick of the litter, so to speak.
You would think that.
Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
You would think that, because being the only game in town, I reach out to a lot of, like I talked about YouTube creators earlier. I'll see local YouTube creators in my town and I'll really enjoy their stuff. And I'm like, man, dude, we got to get you in on the team, man. Like, imagine what if with y'all's resources and what we could do, just imagine what we could create together, and imagine how far we could go if we all work together. Because I've told everybody in the crew, like, the way this works is that we all rise up together because we all put in the work together, Yeah. But it's still surprisingly difficult to get people involved sometimes. I know that probably a big portion of it has to do with money and financing, because there really isn't a whole lot of money and financing to have up here. Like a lot of the times whenever you're making movies like this, you're really doing it for the passion. You're doing it because you want to do it, and you're doing it because you believe in the project, and money kind of feels like something you think about afterwards, or whenever the wives start asking, so why are you going up there again? Oh, y'all getting paid again? Oh, y'all gonna be gone how long? Okay. Now
because I'm sure you're pretty much the executive producer on all your projects, so you are in charge of financing. What's it like making a pitch?
Well, the pitch is always easy. Especially, I mean, I like talking to people. I like getting to know people. So talking to people and pitching them stuff is not the problem. The problem is getting them to show up whenever it's time to show up with that. Everybody wants to help. Everybody will give you a soft yes until it's like, all right, we're about to shoot in 3 weeks. I need that. Oh, you can't now? All right. I guess, it is what it is.
Do financiers, do they, when you come in there and you make your pitch, do they pretty much automatically assume that you come from New Orleans, and they're more apt to be more receptive to what you're offering?
I'm very. I don't like to. want to use the word deceive, but I'm usually pretty open about who I am, my quality, my caliber, what I can do, what I can't do. Because, I mean, you have to know your own limitations. That's the only way that you grow, is knowing where the wall is, And a lot of the times you either get just, no, thank you, we can't, or a sure, let's talk later. And then later comes and then it's, oh, I'm sorry, we can't afford it now.
So we got some more people walked in. Hi, Anna. And hi, Michael, our friend Michael here, Heroic Waffles. Jimmy Joe, welcome in from Ireland. Thank you for being here.
Top of the morning to you.
Oh my gosh, yes, we are busy tonight. I was just thinking about that. If you walk inside of a group of investors and you walk in there, I mean, I guess it would be sort of a catch-22 for them too, because it's like, you're asking, let's say you're asking for $100,000, and they're going like, okay, where's this movie being made at? And I think if he said New Orleans, I think they'd be more apt to turn around and sit there and write the check out. But when you sit there and say Monroe, then they're probably hesitant because they're going like, what's in Monroe? What do you, and that seems, is that a stigma that has been slowly being eroded away? Because this is your fourth movie. When you make that pitch for the fifth movie, when you sit there and say, yeah, this is my, I've already made and distributed 4 movies out of my area. I have a professional crew. We're polished. We're seasoned. We're battle tested. Do you think that will help in the future to get bigger projects, or do you still see the stigma working in a small town coming back to haunt you a little bit?
As long as I'm not trying to get funds from my hometown, I don't think it would be a hindrance. Like if I was getting funds from a studio or another, investor or, any financier or anything like that, I kind of sometimes would feel like working out of a small town was kind of in the benefit, because everything's cheaper in a small town, and, labor is cheaper in a small town, and you don't have to worry about pesky unions and things like that in small towns. So I would feel like from a business side, as long as people are signing insurance forms or what's they called, hold harmless forms, I don't see why. I feel like it would only help, but we'll see.
I think honestly, I really do feel this way. I think more than a small town and have to overcome obstacles. I actually think you're in a really great spot because you're not competing with anybody. You're not competing for. Imagine if there's more production companies in town and you had to fight for keep your crew. Now you don't have to do that. Now they're all coming to you. Have you had any luck working with any collaborations with any YouTubers, or are they pretty much just stuck to their own what they're doing?
YouTubers pretty much, they're all about the algorithm, and if they have something that's working for their algorithm, they, for the most part, don't really want to veer away from that. And that's fine. You do you. That's what we're all out here in this grind together, and we're all trying to rise up. And if that's what you're doing, that's what you do. Have fun doing it,
Right. What do you do for the TV station and the radio station? You mentioned you work both places.
I am the 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. editor over at the TV station. I also have a segment called Mitch in the Morning, where I'm pretty much kind of like the community calendar, like whatever events are happening in the town, I go out into that area and I tell people about the event that's happening. And the radio station, I host the rock station Saturday and Sunday morning shows, and the country station Sunday morning show. And then I have my own show in the evening times on Saturday called Wet Paint, where we only play unsigned, underground, and independent artists. You cannot be on a record label. You cannot have a manager. Like, this is like the people in the garage bring us your tracks and we play it.
Yeah, I love those shows. And what time does that show air?
After midnight? It's on 6 p.m. So it's a pretty good time for a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, how many hours do you get to play how many hours do you get to play the music? What?
One.
I knew it.
One.
I knew it. That's gonna be too good to be true. I'm like,
There's a
oh
catch.
my
There's
gosh.
always a
Yeah,
catch.
yeah. You're prime time, but we got 1 hour. Yeah,
You got 1 hour.
ain't that a bitch? Isn't that always how it is? Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I mean, we had color stations and they played locals only. All right, that's awesome. What time does it start? 12 midnight, 12 to 2. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah. All right. Well, yeah, me and the crickets will be hearing that. Um,
Right.
so how did you get your start into this business? I'm taking that the radio and TV probably came first, or yeah. Now
Well,
I thought
I was actually very lucky because I didn't go to film school and I didn't go to college. I have a high school diploma, and I have been a touring musician ever since I was 12 years old. I started playing bass with my dad at 10, 11. And at 12, he was like, Mitch, you need to go join a band. I joined a local church band, and it turns out they were a traveling praise band. So I was 12 years old on a bus, going and play in front of 1,500 people a night for, a week or two at a time, and then come back and then you play, the Wednesday and Sunday evening services for the youth. And then I moved from that and I started playing metal and did folk and rock, and just I filled in on bass for the guys in Green Jelly on a couple of tours. Released a number of albums and this, that, and the other. And that's pretty much because I was I was 12. So you're going into junior high and high school and you're doing this. And my band got signed whenever I was like 17, like the metal band. And we did 3 albums, toured the country, opened for some pretty decent acts. So I wasn't worried about school. I wasn't worried about college. I wasn't worried about any of that. I was just trying to rock. And after I graduated high school, we went on tour across the country. The van broke down. The band imploded on the way back. My dad had to show up with his semi truck with a flatbed to get us all back home. And on the way back home, I was just kind of thinking like, all right, well, what's my plan here? Like, I don't have any other options, and I remembered I've always been a pop culture nerd. I've always loved movies, comic books, TV shows, cartoons. I still watch the same cartoons I watched whenever I was a kid, which is kind of the norm for most people nowadays. But I decided I wanted to try the film stuff. I focused on learning how to write scripts first. That was the first thing I learned how to do, because everything starts with the script, and you don't have a script, you don't really have anything. And so I was learning to do that. And while
where did you learn how to write scripts at?
Books, just
Okay.
reading books. And
Self-taught.
this is 2006, so the internet is a big thing right there. And it's not the thing that we can't live without like it is now, but you could go online and you could research whatever you wanted to research. And the way that I practiced is, I'm a tactile learner. I have to do. If I'm not doing, it's not sinking in. So
Right.
I just sat down and shat out 5 scripts, 5 90-page scripts back to back over the course of 3-4 months.
Now, did you make any of those into? Did any of them make it being made into a film?
2 of them. One of them, the first one, was a short film based off of Edgar Allan Poe stories that I kind of clumped together, and I called it The Coffin Nail. And I didn't know what I was doing at all. Like most first-time film directors, since I knew that school wasn't an option, I thought the next best thing was to get a job at a TV station and learn on hand. So that's what I did. And that's why, while I was working, at the TV station, I'm writing these scripts and I'm trying to make friendships and, relationships with people that work camera up there. I ended up not being able to get any of them, but I did find a buddy that had the same type of camera that was used on 28 Days Later. And we thought, oh, that's got to be great. But we didn't understand that you have to light scenes. We didn't understand that lenses make a big difference. And we
Yeah.
didn't know that you're supposed to record the audio separately. We didn't know the basics of any of this. So it was a really, really tough watching it. And instead of being depressed on how bad it was, I just was like, okay, well, we tried it. We did that. It didn't work out. Let's move on to the next one, and we'll just do it better than we did that one. And that's kind of been like my thing in filmmaking is I do not dwell on any kind of failure. I don't dwell on any kind of misstep. It's all right, that happened. Let's try it again, and let's just do it differently than we did at that time.
That's the attitude to have, though, Vince, right? I mean, if it didn't work, then you go find out why didn't it work. Then you make improvements. Like I said, I mean, I'm sure the first movie was 100 miles an hour for you guys. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Where does this go? How does this work? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, not doing? And then the second movie, I'm sure it was more like, okay, I got pretty much an idea what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it together. So yeah, it's sort of cool to actually hearing you talk to see your evolution.
Well, thank
Like
you.
yeah, this is a lot of fun hearing this.
And
But I do want to go back and talk about your band for a minute, though. What was your band's name and what label were you signed to?
all right, so back in the day, the metal band that I was in was called One Method, and we were signed to Karis Core Records, which was just a mom and pop record shop. I mean, anybody can open up a record label. I own my own record label at this point.
Right.
I like all it takes is the right paperwork and a couple of $100, and bada bing, bada bang, you're a record label. And
Right.
but I had to learn that through years of record labels taking advantage of you. It finally gets to the point where, well, if I just had my own label, then all the money would come to me anyway, and then I can split up with my homies the way they deserve to be split up instead of the way that the industry makes you split it up.
Yeah, it's a lot better for I feel like today's a lot better environment for bands today than it ever has been. I mean, now you don't need radio, you don't necessarily need a major label. As long as you have access to the computer and you are savvy with social media, and you deliver on what you sell,
Well,
you don't
the
need
pendulum swings both ways. And
yeah.
because it's so easy for musicians to do it, now anybody can do it. And now everybody can do it. And so
Yeah,
now,
they can do that. They can go through the motions of it. Doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna succeed. I mean, a lot of people just they think they just put it on auto control, autopilot, and they think it's going to be easy. It's hard work. It's definitely hard work. Even running your own label, it's hard work. Because you want to have you want to be legitimate, like filmmaking. You want to be taken seriously. Um, so after the first movie, what was the first movie? What was the name of it?
my first actual full length feature film.
Yeah, the very first movie you did that was sort of rough.
Oh, that one was called The Coffin Nail. That was a
Okay,
short film.
okay.
And it
Now,
really was a coffin nail.
well, yeah, no, but you learned from it. So
Yeah.
that what were like the three things you learned? What were the three things that you learned about that movie that you took with you to the next one?
Oh, easy. You have to light scenes. You have to use different lenses. You have to record the audio separately. Like those are the main three that I learned.
Now, after the first movie, did you use the same people that you used for the first one? Did you take them with you to the second one?
No. I tried. But it didn't work out that way. At the end of the day, I ended up being the only one that was, I guess, I hate saying things like I was the only one serious enough to do it because that kind of makes me feel pretentious saying it. But of the group of people, I was the only one that was like, no, let's just keep going. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, well, then, all right, cool. But the first full length movie that I did was a stoner trailer park comedy called Near to Wells. And I have to kind of stop at this moment and say a huge thank you to Professor Brian Dunn. He was the guy that took the chance on me back at this point. I already had the script written at that point after we did Coffin Nail, and my buddy Dustin was going to college at Louisiana Delta Community College, and one of his professors was Mr. Dunn, and he actually owned his own production company. This is 2007 at this point in time, and he was one of only 2 production companies in town at that point in time in the game. Them and they were called Delta Movies, and there was another one that did mainly just religious type films because, you know, buckle the Bible belt down here. So he told him and Justin spoke at class. He had mentioned to Dustin he owned his own production company. They just finished their first full-length film. They were getting ready to release it, and they were looking for the next project. And he's like, a buddy of mine wrote a script for a stoner comedy. You should check it out. We met up. I showed it to him. I pitched the idea. And they're like, we love it. Let's do it. And I was like, cool. Real quick, can I direct the movie? And they're like, go to film school? No. You ever read books about this? No. You ever do anything like this before? I'm like, I have a short film. Can we see it? No. Why not? Because it's not a good representation of me. But so they watched. They eventually were like, we got to watch it. So we watched it. And after it got done, Brian looked at me, and he kind of took a minute while he was looking at me, and he goes, you know what, Mitch, you're right. You don't know what you're doing technically.
Okay.
But you have a very good eye for where the shots and the cameras need to go. So how about this? You come and apprentice with me for 6 months, and you come to my house 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 hours every day. And I will sit you down and give you all the knowledge that you could possibly get at film school.
Wow.
And after you do that, and I feel that you are ready, yes, you can direct the movie. And so that's what we did. 6 months, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I went there.
Awesome.
And I mean, he's like, all right, Mitch, now you know everything. You just don't have a piece of paper saying that you do. And I'm like, I can handle that. Let's get to work.
Now, what are some of the things that he taught you? You know, what are some of the things he taught you that you had zero idea what to do other than what you previously told me? But what are some of the
everything. Wow. Everything. Like he taught me the proper way to set up lights, 3-point lighting, all the technical terms used on set, the way that what mics you use, the positionings of mics, how to set up all the different rigs of the different cameras. He had a crane, he had a jib, he had sliders. So I got to sit down and have real hands-on experience with all that stuff. And, you know, it wasn't the stress of school and tests. I don't really thrive under that. But if it's sit down and work it and show me that you can do it, all right, now let's go out and do it, I can do that, you know.
Your confidence just must have shot through the roof, though.
Well, the confidence, I don't know. I felt confident because I knew that I had Brian. He was going to co-direct it to basically be my parachute. If I knew that I couldn't fuck up, you know, because I knew he wasn't going to let me fuck up. And so that was comforting, and that did help boost my confidence. But I honestly never felt like I knew what I was doing the entire time. I just knew that it was a lot of fun. I knew that I was getting to use all these new skills I had learned. But like you said, I just felt like the ball was rolling downhill at 100 miles an hour, and, you know, do what you can.
Now, did you take any of those skills right there? Did you take them to the television station? What were you already working at the television station, or did that come later?
That came later. I started apprenticing with Brian in 2008. And then by October of 2008, we started filming the movie, and we filmed only on weekends. So it took us 1.5 years to film it.
Oh, yeah.
And so after that, you know, I'm sorry.
How did you raise the money for your project? How much was your budget for your first movie?
That one, the Ne'er-Do-Wells movie, I think altogether it was like $10,000. And all of that money came from the production company, and we had 3 businesses that also threw in like 2,500 here, 3,500 there. And so I think altogether it was about 10,000, and pretty much all of that went to materials. Nobody got paid to work. It was just we bought the materials we needed to make the movie happen.
A year and a half. Wow. Now, did you storyboard it? Did you learn how to do storyboards?
We did storyboard it in the beginning.
Okay.
And because I had to sit down and I had to learn all the processes, you know, like I had to learn how to do the storyboard and stuff. I had to sit down with, you know, your rundown to fill out your production stuff, you know, like I had to go through the ringer, you know, everything that you do, I had to sit down and learn how to do, or at least put my eyes on it and somewhat, you know, be familiar with it. So, you know, it kind of, it was what it was, and it wasn't what it wasn't. And it was a really funny movie to make, I think. And I don't think any of us made our money back.
Now, was this your first movie really working with a large acting cast? And did you cast your own film?
Yeah. Me and Brian sat down and had an extremely long auditioning and rehearsal process. Like, we rehearsed with the cast once we had them for a solid 4 months, like twice a week, getting together for 2 or 3 hours. Because the Ne'er-Do-Wells movie, you know, I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, and I wrote a lot of dialogue for that. So it was a lot of dialogue in that movie. A lot of people sitting around, hanging out, smoking weed, watching movies, and talking about stuff. So they had to learn a lot of dialogue, and you had to go over it. And the thing that sucked was anything that could go wrong with Ne'er-Do-Wells did go wrong with Ne'er-Do-Wells, including having to recast the main actor after filming 30 pages with him. So it's another reason why it took a year and a half.
Right. Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I've heard of films being taken as long as, you know, 5 years to make. So I get it.
Well,
so
you know, the movie Phantasm took them a year and a half to make Phantasm, the original one.
That's right. Don Costatelli. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, even I think like the kid who played Michael, the young kid. Yeah, you can definitely see him from the, you know, during the movies. He's this big this movie, and then later on he seems that he's grown. It's like, wait a minute. I saw that too. I had a filmmaker in Florida. He made this movie, and it took him 5 years, and you could see every minute. Yeah, it was like, wow, how come he looks so younger in this scene, but he looks older in this scene, and vice versa.
In Ne'er-Do-Wells, if you watch the main character, Chris, his hair is not the same ever. It's ever growing. In fact, it grew so much that we eventually just had to put like a beanie on him. Like, just put this beanie on and cover up that hair. Like, you're not going to cut it?
Yeah, continuity.
What'd Sam Raimi say? Continuity, schmontinuity.
So after the first movie was made, and then you took it to post. Now, did your friend let you lead the way on posting too? I mean, did he walk you through that, or did he you know, gently guide you as you started editing in your film?
Well, when the movie was first released, we were releasing it as a web series. Like, we took the movie and we just broke it up into 5, 6, 10-minute increments and was releasing it web series wise online. And whenever that was happening, I was not editing. Brian had another guy named Ryan Woolley, who is a fantastic filmmaker right now as well. He moved down to New Orleans, and he's doing very well down there. He's worked on NCSIS, I believe, something like that. But he was editing it at first. And because it took us a year and a half to film, you know, we'd film stuff, we'd edit it, and we'd release that section of it as we're filming, you know, and the goal was to put it all together at the end and release it as one full-length feature, which ended up not happening until I did it many, many years later. So
it doesn't look good, does it?
Huh?
It doesn't. When people cut off a movie like that, I saw a director he made a movie called Vigilante Diaries. He did the same thing as you did. He chopped the movie up and he put it on a web series. But then he decided
Yeah,
to put it all together. Boy, it was
it
that's rough.
it does make it feel disconjointed. I wasn't really down. I wasn't excited about that part of it, but that is what the production company wanted to do. And, I couldn't do it without them. So I was like, all right, if that's the way y'all want to do this, who am I to say no? I'm
The
only
thing
the guy
of
that
it
wrote it.
is, like, you sort of like you want to sit there and say, I understand why you wanted to do this and everything else. I understand that, but that's my name out there, and I
Well, it
don't
was
want
their
it to.
name too.
Yeah, but you got to protect your name, because you're new.
Yeah.
They're probably older and more experienced than you are. You're brand new. This is first impressions are everything. You don't want to
Well,
come out there with a chopped up film. Um,
yeah, but I also saw it from their point of view as well because this is 2008, 9 that this is happening. YouTube is really starting to pick up momentum, and their thought process was they were trying to connect into that algorithm. Like if people want things broken up into webisodes, let's give it a shot. That felt like the thing that everybody was doing at that point in time. So, like I said, I had absolute and still do have absolute trust in Brian Dunn. In fact, me and him, the next movie that we're doing, he's coming back on board in the crew, and me and him haven't done anything together since 2012 or 13. So it's been a good decade, and I'm very excited to have him come back on the next one.
yeah, I would definitely think so. I mean, it's always good to have skilled, experienced operators on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Did you manage to get Ne'er Do Well? Did you distribute it?
We got it it's on YouTube and it's on Cube Stream. And so people can get it if they want to watch it. It's just look up Ne'er Do Wells the movie. It's on YouTube or Cube Stream and you can find it. I think now that I'm starting to get a little bit more like connections and a little bit more people within the business that I know better and are starting to do work with us for Bogman. If that stuff works out with Bogman, I've spoken to Brian about us pulling up some of the old films that we worked on back in the day that we couldn't get traction for and trying to get distribution for them now.
Sure. It's pretty let's see, somebody Jeff connections. Yeah, that's that, or what we called it in the music business. We call it the art of the smooze.
Yes.
Yes, you know about that. Yeah. How many times you walk inside a club and just sit there and just press the flesh with everybody and just talk everybody up? Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
So that movie's underneath your belt. Now, by this time that movie ends, I'm sure you're already working the television and the radio station. So here you are.
I did start working at the TV station. I started working at the TV station in 2006, and I worked from 2006 to 2008. And then I started doing the movie. And so I kind of was putting all my focus on the movie. So I quit all my jobs I had at that point in time because I was making a little bit of money weekly to work on it, and thankfully living in Louisiana and living in trailer parks, everything is ridiculously cheap if you don't care about the quality of life that you live in. So I was doing enough to stay alive at that point in time. So but I left the the TV station in 2008, and then I came back in 2012, and I've been there ever since. And I started working at the radio station earlier this last year.
Okay. So I mean, you've acquired a nice round set of skills. I mean, again, it's proven to the point. Like, you are. Let's just face it, you're the big dog in your town. I mean, I'm sure when your films are done and they're completed, you got local press, right? Did local press cover you? Do they put
Well, yeah,
articles?
because I mean, I have connections with the TV and radio stations. So I mean, we're playing Bogman premiere spots on the radio station every time I'm up there, and the TV station lets me do my Mitch in the Morning segment promoting it, and so yeah, I mean, PR wise, yeah, I do have a pretty good monopoly on most all of the ways to promote it around here. You just have to get past the apathy of the people around here, to actually get them to get out and go support and go do. It was bad enough before the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, it was just like everybody, it got worse.
What was it like for you during the pandemic? I mean, uh, how did that affect you and your productions? How did you stay busy during that time? Did you attempt to shoot anything outside, or did you just concentrate on your writing and improving on your scripts?
Well, whenever the pandemic happened, I had just finished doing a redneck reality TV show for 3 seasons. And the last season happened the last season ended pretty much right before 2020 happened. And I was because I had spent 3 years working with the TV show, I kind of wanted to focus on music for 2020 and 2021. And, I have some concept albums I've been recording, and I still got 3 more albums worth of conceptual stuff that I wanted to do that I haven't had a chance to do yet. So I was like, let's work on one of those. We did a punk album about the Naruto anime. I don't know if you're an anime fan or not.
Yep.
We did an album called Hokage that was pretty much the entire Naruto story from top to bottom until Boruto shows up, which is really difficult to do in 12 songs. Really difficult.
That's a great concept album. That's a great. I think that's. I don't think I've ever heard anybody do anything like that.
But
now,
we released.
If you could follow up and do 12 songs about Team Rocket, that would be impressive.
But we released that album in March of 2020.
How'd it do for you?
Not well, because we couldn't go tour on it. I still wanted to do something musically, and really at that point in time in the pandemic, especially with everybody scared and everything shut down, the only thing, if you wanted to do something artistic, really the only name of the game in town was music videos. You couldn't go play shows anywhere. You can't go film movies because no one's going to give you, location agreements. But you can meet up with your homies in your practice room and film you playing some music and use that for music videos. So that's pretty much how I spent my 2020, was doing music videos.
Let's see. Our friend Echo says that he thinks that he's found the YouTube channel for ne'er-do-wells. Go ahead and post it, Echo, and we'll find out if it's the right one or not.
It's got to be. I haven't even seen it, and it's got to be.
Now, so that's your second movie. Ne'er-do-wells is your second movie. Let's talk about
it was my first movie, second project.
What was your second movie?
It was a horror anthology movie called Boo.
And that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, this was 2012, so it was definitely before the craze had happened. That movie never saw the light of day.
Do you still? Well, are you gonna try to remake it?
Brian still has all the footage. He still has all the soundtracks. He still has everything that we did. But there was some legal issues between him and the financier, who was also the writer and executive producer, where they ended up suing each other over stuff and or injunctions or whatever. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't even go to college, so I don't even pretend like I know what I'm talking about. But bottom line was we couldn't touch the footage once it was all said and done. And I think now the statutes limitation of it is starting to come up. I don't know. Once again, I'm not a lawyer, so I could be just talking out my ass here. But I know that me and him have spoken about doing something with it now that enough time has passed.
Yeah, I think anthology films are a lot of fun. We talked to filmmaker Min Collins, on Tuesday, and he himself is doing a trilogy of anthology films called Fables of the Witching Hour. So I really do. That is the right link for ne'er-do-wells. So if you guys want to go over there and click on that link that Echo dropped, you can go over there. If you're a YouTuber, so you can just click on play later, or to watch later, and then come back to the show.
Now there's two versions. There's the web series where it's like broken up in 8 episodes, the first half of the movie. And you could go and check that out if you want. But the full hour and 24-minute long version of the movie is out there on YouTube. Just search Ne'er-do-Wells the movie and it should pop up.
Let's see. And then we have 2 friends. I think these are 2 friends of yours. Brian Dunn is here and Jeff Joplin.
Yep. That's the Brian Dunn that I've been talking about for the past hour.
Okay. All right. So this is your mentor then.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow. Okay. So he could actually answer that question about the anthology film. Can you guys get legal rights to it now, Brian? Hopefully you guys can. I mean, did you write the anthology? Did you and Brian did you have any
it was Brian's connection, the guy that was financing it. He was also a writer and he wanted to write the script. And, if you're paying for it, do whatever the hell you want to do,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, now you're in a position to do it yourself, right?
That's the way I like it too.
How big is your production company as far as manpower wise? I mean, how many people, if you said, if you rally your troops right now for a 48-hour shoot, 48-hour film challenge, how big is your crew?
I probably got a 18 to 20 person crew, and I probably got about a dozen actors that I could call up at a moment's notice and say, hey, I need somebody this weekend, let's go. And so probably about 32 of us strong.
Now, have you developed those the crew? Have they learned underneath you and Brian as far as making a movie goes? And where'd you get your actors at? Is there live theaters? There's a community theater, dinner theater? Where did you get? How did you find your actors?
The first part of the question, as far as like developing the crew, half of them, yes. Half of the crew is people that had no experience at all until they came on set and we just showed them how to do it. And now they've done it a couple of times. And now, like I said before, I'm very, very proud of my crew of guys and girls. They are, what they lack in knowledge, they make up for with attitude and spirit and willing to do it and willing to learn, and it's like they don't, they understand that we're not talking down to you. Like, I just need you to go do this, and so half of them, the other half were people that there was like this guy Damon Adcock and his buddy Brad Castle. They were both in the movie. They did an independent film in town, completely separate from me, nothing to do with me or any of my guys, all by themselves in 2019. And I watched it and I really enjoyed it. And I came to him, was like, dude, I enjoy Dumpster Fire. I got this movie Bogman I'm working on. I want you to come on as my assistant director, man. I need help, and so he also, the guy I'm talking about, Damon, he played the character of Snake in the movie. And Brad,
I like how you said that, though. You know what? You said something right there that is absolutely critical, and I think it shows a lot about you as a filmmaker too, if you think about it. And Brian will probably agree with me on this. But you told that gentleman, that you need help. A lot of filmmakers won't admit that. They won't sit there and say, they'll sit there and say, well, maybe we work, maybe we could, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Or anything else, but the simple, like, I'm going to need your help on this. Can you help me? Is that a phrase you hear a lot in your business? I need help.
It's definitely something I say a lot.
Huh?
It's definitely something I say a lot.
Yeah. Have you heard a lot of people say it back to you?
Yeah, I mean, anybody, if you know, one of the things that inspires loyalty from people is being loyal back. I mean, that's why my guys and girls, come and help me whenever I need help, because if they need help, if I can do it, I'm going to be there. Like, we all got lives. I got kids, we got jobs, but if I can be there and help you, I'm 100% going to be there. It just, and I expect the same in return. And that's why I think that our group of people works, is we have that favor system. It's not about like the money for us. Like, yeah, we all would love to make money. We all would love to be able to only focus on doing filmmaking as our career, and just, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. We don't all get that though. And if this is all that I'm going to get, man, I'm going to strap in and enjoy every bit of the fucking ride, man.
Yeah.
And part of that enjoyment is working with your friends and the people that you care about.
Yeah, I was just thinking of I think of a couple of filmmakers I know that fit very much into your frame of mind. So let me ask you this real quick. I mean, so now you got your third movie in. Now let's talk a little bit about Bogman. Where did the concept for Bogman come in?
Well, like most movies that I write, I'm inspired by locations. I come up with my best ideas whenever somebody shows me a location or I am presented with one, and I just can sit down and think, ooh, what kind of story could we do here? And I had a buddy of mine that was a part of my crew for a long time. He's moved on to Shreveport, and he's working over there, and he's doing great, and I'm very happy for him. But at the time we were working together, and he was like, hey man, I have this location out in El Dorado, Arkansas. I need you to go come with me and take a look at it. I think we could use it for something. I'm a third generation legacy over there. I can definitely get it for us. Let's go check it out. I'm like, all right, let's go. So we went, and it was a camp. And as soon as I saw the camp, I fell in love with it. And like, as soon as we're going down the driveway to get to the camp, I'm already thinking like, all right, what kind of story can I do with this? All right. And I thought, there's tropes for a reason, and they work for a reason, So I thought, let's just do the whole thing where like a family gets something like sent to them from an uncle after they die, they inherit it, and they show up, and there's a monster in the woods. What kind of monster would it be? Bigfoot. I love Bigfoot. Like these were all things that I was thinking to myself as we're going down the driveway to get to the place.
I was actually trying, when I was watching the movie and I saw Bogman, I was actually trying to think of as like a Bigfoot in Louisiana, and I'm just thinking, because most of the time whenever I think of Bigfoot, I'm always thinking California,
or Oregon.
Oregon or Washington State. I don't see Bigfoot as being a Southern gentleman. But you sort of convinced me otherwise. I saw him as a Canadian. I've seen I've seen Bigfoot as a Canadian, but I never saw him as being a Southern gentleman, and it worked. Have you always did you grow up? When you give up watching movies, what kind of movies did you like? Did you like those kind of movies, the creature feature movies, growing up?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a '80s kid, so I as a kid I grew up watching the classics like Batman, Ghostbusters, Superman, The Goonies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, stuff like that, and my dad was pretty laxed on what he let me watch, because I actually, funny story, his best friend growing up was a gentleman named George Bacon, and he was one of the electricians on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And so Dad brought that guy over because I was a big fan of the movie as a kid, and he like brought him over and explained to me like, this is the guy that helped do the lights and everything for this movie. And that's kind of whenever like the curtain got pulled back. It's like, oh, none of this is real. Oh, this is all fake. Oh, they made all this? Oh, well, it's not as scary anymore, So Dad he was like, all right, well, they let me watch RoboCop and stuff like that. The big one was The Shining. The Shining broke me. I was like, okay, all right, this is it. This is the stuff right here.
No, Now, had you read The Shining? Did you ever read The Shining?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've read just about all of Stephen's classic books. It's great.
I love the book. Hate the movie.
You hate the movie?
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Stephen hated the movie too.
The book is so powerful.
Listen, the book is better, and actually, as far as like if you want to digest that story, like that TV show they did, the TV series The Shining, where they actually followed the book, it had the guy from Wings in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Tim Daly.
Yeah.
Yep. Greetings. The Ice Lord is in the house. It's our good friend Wes in the house, Horde Tuber of the Month. Wes, thank you for being here. I think I missed somebody here. Charlie's here. Hi, Charlie. How are you? Glad you are here, sir.
From Starkville, Mississippi.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is that one of your crew?
No, I listen to a lot of Jim Cornette wrestling podcasts, and there's a guy named Charlie from Starkville, Mississippi that answers the question every week.
Yeah, you know what? That would be a great. If you ever do autobiography movie, please do it on Jim Cornette because
he's one of my people that I would love to meet before he passes. Like he's just one of those and Mick Foley. Mick Foley is my hero. Like I wish I could be more like Mick Foley. He is just one of the sweetest, nicest, most positive people in the world. Been married to the same woman since that 80s, there's so much about Mick that I just aspire to be like as a person. Maybe not so much in a career because I can't really do any of that stuff, but as a person, Mick Foley is definitely a man that I strive to be like.
Well, you guys both have a lot in common. You develop your skills on your own, and you want to learn how to do a certain thing. He wanted to learn how to be a wrestler. I mean, you guys there's a lot more common when creators, when you start comparing yourself to other creators.
We're both missing teeth.
Yeah. Oh, missing. Yes, right. He's missing teeth. Yeah, but I don't think you've been hit on the head with a chair though, or thrown off.
I have.
Oh,
because I'm developing a wrestling movie as well. It's not going to be the next project that I work on, but it is in the burner. The script is written, and I have spoken to some people that are interested in helping me with it. So, but like I told everybody in the crew, because we're developing Sea of Madness, which is the sequel for Bogman, and this wrestling movie kind of at the same time. And everybody's like, well, which one are you going to do? I'm like, whichever one gives me money first. That's the one that I'm going to do.
Charlie says to tell you that he was the clown in Boo.
Oh, Charles, yes. Hey, Charles. He was Tank in Bogman. He's the guy that got his jawbone ripped off.
That's right. Good. Let's go back to the Bogman because like I said, because I love creature features, so I had to take us time out there to ask you about what kind of movies did you watch when you were growing up. So I mean, so you're a creature feature guy too.
Evil Dead 2 is my favorite movie of all time.
Which one is?
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2. Love the first one. Yeah, that one too. What'd you think of the remake?
It was great all the way up until the Ash character buries his sister and she comes back and is magically fine and is now the hero of the movie again. That's whenever I just turn it off. I don't even watch the rest of it.
What directors inspire you? When you look at all the, who are your three favorite directors?
Sam Raimi. He's probably one of my favorites. I mean, Kevin Smith is obvious. If anybody that does watch Ne'er-do-Wells. The third one is a little difficult because, I mean, there are so many great directors. There's, how do you answer it? Do you go with the prestige of somebody like Martin Scorsese, who everything that he does is just flawlessly perfect? Do you go with Steven Spielberg, who is one of the best directors of all time, or do you go with Don Castiglione from Phantasm because of his ability to
I'm going to go
thrive
with
in indie
Don.
projects?
I'm going to go with Don only in the simple fact that he managed to scare the shit out of me, and Steven Spielberg had not.
Well, Jaws scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, well, the tall man scared the shit out of me.
Did you ever see Duel?
Yes, Duel scared the shit out of me too.
That's a terrifying movie.
That is a terrifying movie. Awesome movie. That's a fantastic film. Actually, I think it's much more of a nail biter than Jaws is. Quite honestly.
So then Steven Spielberg has scared you.
But not as much as the tall man. The tall man scared the shit. I mean, let's put it this way. Some of the guys in the chat, they already know this story, but I'll tell this one for you. When I saw Phantasm, I was in my 20s. It was on commercial TV on a Friday night, edited. It was commercials. I was sitting in the dark watching it. By the time that movie ended, I had every light in the house on for a commercial and edited TV movie. When he came out and he said, "Boy, I was it. I was terrified." I was like, "That's it.
He's
That's
talking to me.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
I'm the boy."
Yeah, that was it for me. I'm like, "Oh hell no!" Plus those spears that came out there, the flying spears this was like, holy shit, that's scary.
And then the Jawas.
Yeah, but they didn't really bother me too much. The spears got me, and then at the end where he came out and said, "Boy," it was like, "Oh, okay, that's nightmare fuel forever." Yeah, thanks, Professor. Yeah, everybody's saying "boy" now. Yeah, that's a good one. I love the fact that you picked Don Coscarelli because he's a very fun, he's a good director. Another friend of yours popped up, Frankie Thomas.
Yeah, that's Nash from Bogman.
Okay, and now we're getting more boys. Thanks a lot. Why don't you type? Yeah, that's all right. I'll get you later, Echo. So let's go back to Bogman. So because this was your biggest film, obviously. So tell us about how it came to be. Did you write it all by yourself? Did you have help with it? Who did you run the script by before you started filming?
Well, whenever I went to go look at the location with my buddy Sharky, this was 2016. Whenever we did that. And so we sat down, me and him and a third person, and started bouncing ideas off each other and trying to get the story developed. And after a few weeks of just sitting in rooms and not getting anything done and not getting any progress or anything that I was like happy with, because it started taking like a weird racial like aspect to it. And I don't like, that's not my bag, baby. I don't want to do that, And so I just kind of left it alone and didn't. I was like, life is serendipitous, and if it's meant to be, it'll come back later. And that's kind of the way I looked at it. And we were working on the third movie, Unknown Strangers, which was a movie written and directed by my buddy Sharky that I produced and edited and acted in. And we were in post-production for that movie. And working on that movie really inspired me to pull out the script idea and redevelop it. And I mentioned earlier, I'm a tactile guy. Like whenever I write, I still pull out a notepad, pen, and I write my script out in my notebook. And then that's my first draft. And the second draft is me typing it, which is what I did with this one. I wrote it all out in a notebook. I gave the notebook to Sharky. He typed it out for me, sent it back. I looked over it, made sure everything was copacetic. And I really wasn't looking to push it once I had it written. But like I said before, I follow serendipity. And whenever the universe talks, I try my best to listen. And right. We were doing Unknown Strangers. We had gotten asked to set up a booth or invited to set up a booth at the Shreveport Bigfoot Film Festival and present Unknown Strangers at it. And when we got invited to that, through the art department guy from Bogman, that me and him we're yet to become best friends, but we had not become best friends yet, but now we are. Richard Henderson. He's the one that pointed that out, like, hey, you need to go check this out. And I'm like, it's a Bigfoot film festival? And they want us to put this, okay, well, I have a Bigfoot script. This has got to be some kind of a sign, So I took the script with me to the film festival and showed it to Mr. Brian Horn, who they have their own production company in Shreveport. And he puts on the festival, and he looked over the script and listened to my pitch and said, dude, if you bring us this movie next year, we will, of course, play it. I'm like, all right, well then, guys, it's time for us to go home and work on a movie again. And which was already a pitch in itself, because we had just finished Unknown Strangers, the third movie. Like, we had just finished filming everything, like the day before Thanksgiving or something like that. And then this festival was happening in March. So it was like less than a few months later that I come back from this film festival. Like, all right, guys, I know y'all had a break, but it's time to work on another movie again. It's like,
wow. Yeah. Let's go to the wrap party. The movie ends. You do a wrap party on a Tuesday, then come back out for or the first day on Wednesday.
The planning meeting. We got planning meetings next week.
Table read as soon as you guys are done with your snacks, doing a table read.
Do you want to know something interesting about this movie?
Sure.
I talked about Ne'er-Do-Wells was an extremely long rehearsal process and this, that, and the other. All of the actors in the Bogman, we did one table read with the entire cast one time 2 weeks before we started filming.
Your actors, except for a handful, they look to be just raw rookies. That's impressive. I mean, because they did a really nice job. I mean, for the acting, I mean, I thought they gave a lot of, there's a lot of heart in the Bogman. There's a lot of effort. They tried really hard. I mean, they're not polished. They're not veterans or what have you, but they're earnest and they're willing and they work their asses off. And you could definitely see that they were having fun but they're also taking it seriously, as far as, let's make a good movie, this not, I don't want to come out here and just, I don't want to be just a bad movie. I want to try my best. And I'm looking at the cast list now. I see Frankie Thomas is there, and Christian Gross, and Kyle Simpson, C. Damon Adcock, Evelyn Stark. I mean, all these fine. There's Charles right there. Charles Nail played Tank. Morgan. I mean, hats off to your acting crew as well. Did you do the casting all yourself, or did you have help casting the movie?
I cast it all myself. I have, you asked about where we find actors. One place that the well that I go to is the Strauss Theater here in Monroe. There are a plethora of fantastic talent. And yes, I understand that theater acting is different than film acting. I know that. All right. But those people that start that do films, 9 times out of 10 always start in theater. Like some of the best actors that we know, they started in theater. So you just take those, I like utilizing people's strengths, and I also like to feed into the weaknesses too. You talked about, the actors, some of them being unpolished and they were clearly rookies. Sometimes whenever I was working with actors and someone wasn't delivering a line that was the most sincere or believable, because of the subject matter and the nature of this movie, The Bogman, it's not a movie that takes itself too seriously, So if somebody had a hard time being believable, I just stopped trying to get them to be believable and got them to go the other direction. Like, in fact, overact it, be as hokey as possible.
Right.
And a lot of the times, them being as hokey as possible, a little bit of sincerity sneaks in, a little bit of like, genuineness sneaks in, and you get them to do it over the top a few times. The next thing you know, it's exactly the way you wanted it the first time, because I don't know, just working with actors is a process.
Uh, uh, so tell us about the special effects. Now, was this your first movie that you had to work with? They had because you used all practical effects, right?
Yes. We were going to do one digital effect, and then we decided against it at the last minute. Well,
always a good practical.
We did do all right. That's a lie. We did do all of the gunshots were all digital effects.
Okay.
We didn't allow bullets on set. We, in fact, if we could get just plastic, prop guns, that's what we got. There were a couple of real guns, but every real gun that was brought on set, we had 4 or 5 people, including me, the last one, to look into it and, make sure that it's clear and there's nothing in there. So, I always made sure that I was the last one to look into it and make sure that it was clear. And then all right, here we go. Let's do it.
Yeah, set safety is essential. Now, you shot that in your part of Louisiana. Louisiana is not exactly. There's a lot of obstacles up there. You have animals and creatures up there. Shooting a creature feature, you run across creatures. You guys have alligators up there. Louisiana has alligators. I don't know if some people know that or not. And they have water moccasins and whatnot.
You're way more danger of the water moccasins than you are of the alligators. Let me go ahead and tell you that.
Did you run across anything? Did you run any tough things that happened during your shoot?
Honestly, no. All of the exterior woods shots and scenes were all done at Richard Henderson's land, our art department guy. And I don't even remember seeing a single snake. And I usually see at least one snake anytime I go out in the woods. And I don't remember seeing a snake. I don't remember. Oh, the chickens. There were chickens everywhere. I'm surprised we got working audio.
Were they wild chickens?
No, Richard has that's his chicken coop that David tells him, "Hey, Clint, rush this chicken shit." That's his chicken coop beside his house. So there was, and they didn't stay in the coop. I guess they got wings so they can fly out, and they just walk up on us like, "Oh, the chickens are here."
Charles wants his jaw back, so and then it says then Danielle says Danielle Stark says, Tank, you're not getting that jaw back, and I'm saying the Bogman too, and maybe Tank's revenge could happen. So now did this movie did you distribute it? Did you distribute it for hard copy, or is it on stream, or did you put it on a streaming service?
We're all that because I'm sure if you're going to do film festivals, it can't stream anywhere. It can't be released anywhere if you're going to do film festivals. But that doesn't mean that we have spoken to. We have a movie rep that's going to be pitching it for distribution for some other studios and stuff. We do have an offer from another place for distribution. Hard copy distribution, online streaming. So we have options, but I'm being patient. I'm not trying to snatch up the first thing that comes our way, because I want to see what happens with these film festivals. I want to see what happens with the the rep that's pitching it out there. So I'm in no hurry to hurry up and get it out right now, just because I want to make sure that whenever it does get out, everybody can see it, or the most, audience that can see it can go and see it,
Let's see. Charles says he doesn't think Tank will make it into the Bogman 2. Yeah, it might be hard to do with a missing jaw, but technology, CGI, Charles, CGI.
There are some hella plastic surgeons out there.
Tank can do it. Tank can make a 3D jaw. Uh, so what do you want to do next? What are you going to do in the rest of 2023? What's the goal for you and your production team? What do you do film festivals and then start another movie? Are you currently writing anything exciting that you
Well,
can
I've got
share right
two
now?
scripts finished right now.
Okay.
One is called Sea of Madness, and it is a sequel to Bogman. It's not so
Oh,
much a
really?
it's not so much a Bigfoot sequel, but it is a sequel to the movie. Um, the Sea of Madness movie follows the Dr. Martin and the deputy. They team up to do a TV show, and they go to this yacht party to talk to this millionaire about giving some capital for the new TV show because they have the Bigfoot's body and they can study it now. So they want to do a show about that. And the guy's like, you know what? Yeah, you can have your money. Let's go ride around. Let's go celebrate on the yacht. So they go out. Freak storm happens. The yacht sinks. 7 people on a floating raft. They run across this floating World War II submarine in the middle of the ocean. They go in, and it has been overrun by evil mermaids.
Yeah, sign me up for that. Take my money. Take my money. That's it. I'm in already. Yeah, I'd love the idea of doing a mermaid movies. It seems like lately has seen a little bit of an uptick in mermaid movies, so that's always a good thing. All right. I'm looking at my clock. Think I have kept you. I have kept you. I know you have a family and kids and whatnot. Did you enjoy their macaroni and cheese, by the way?
Yes. Well, the one did. The one that eats everything enjoys it. The other one.
You can't go wrong with mac and cheese.
Real quick, before we do get out of here, I would be remiss if I did not give a huge shout out and talk about the 2 best actors in the movie.
Sure, let's do it.
Which would be Sir Benjamin Gross and Miss Chrissy Gray. Hands down, the 2 best actors and actresses that I've ever worked with. Ben is just a consummate professional, and he's somebody that really cares about the craft of acting, like acting as a craft. And he always wants to do better than what he did before, or do something that challenges him that's different than what he did before. And I think that it really comes across in his performance as Dr. Martin, which is why he's in all the rest of the movies too.
And Chrissy Gray is also a fine actress, huh?
Yes. She and she's such a trooper too. That's another thing. She is such a trooper.
Isn't it? Because when a beautiful girl, that's how you can tell an actress if they're really good or not. And this is true. When you get a beautiful girl, a good looking girl, beautiful girl actress who's not afraid to get herself dirty. You know, like, you want me to roll in the mud? Okay.
Yeah,
no problem. You want me to wrestle the bad guy? Okay, I'm down with
Yeah.
it. You want me to walk around with half, blood in my hair and dirt on my face? All right. Instead
want me to run over the Bigfoot dummy? I got you.
Yeah. I mean, when you see somebody like that, I don't know what that is. It just warms my heart, and I just think it's great that they're doing that. They're not worried about, well, yeah, I don't want to get too much on me, or I'm going to be seen in a bad light, or maybe I can have a stunt double or something like that. When they go out there and do it themselves, man, this is something really cool about that. Really cool. Yeah.
And
I think Tank is still saying he's got a hell of a lips now. Tank is still alive, is basically what I'm getting here.
Yes.
Tank is alive. He's going to be
can't talk
out.
anymore. He can't talk anymore, so he has to type. That's all he can do.
Yeah, you know what? Tank may not be dead after all. I think we're bringing him back to life. I want to thank you, Mitch, for coming out and talking with us. Thank you for doing it on short notice. This has been a fantastic interview. Your friends and your crew came out tonight to support you.
You're talking to Bree next month, right?
I am talking to. No, I don't think I've talked to Bree. I'm talking to. Let's see. No, no, I don't have Bree down. I nope, I'm not talking to Christy Gray either. So maybe you can help me out with that.
Let's get Bree in here. She's the special effects lady.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be happy to talk. I'll be happy to talk to anybody who wants to talk to me. So I'll be happy to bring in Bree. I'll be happy to bring in your leading lady. I have room, so we'll make that happen. We'll talk about it off camera for sure. Let you guys know that next Saturday at 7 p.m. Again, next Saturday at 7 p.m. we'll be back here for a special show Saturday, featuring our good friend John Henderson, Doomsday Crypt, along with actor Brett Wagner, who played the Lost Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw, and also Beatrice Boppel, who played Amanda Kruger, Freddy's mom in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. They will all be here next Saturday at 7 p.m. See, that's a lineup for you. See,
dude, that's a great lineup. It makes me almost sad that I'm going to be at the Bogman premiere that night.
But you know what? This is why we have replay for.
That's right.
That's right. So what we'll do is I'll make sure I slide it over to you on your page. I also have Mitch's socials and everything down in the description box, so you can go out there and check out his socials and sign up to his Instagram page and Facebook page and all that good stuff. And then next Tuesday, the 28th, we have Vale from a Night Vale, extraordinarily gifted cosplayer. She'll be here on next Tuesday on the 28th, and that will be our first Women in Horror Month show right there, February 28th. And then all of March is going to be nothing but women in horror. That's all there is to it. We got
ladies.
Yes, we got actresses, we got directors, we got producers, we got writers, we got novelists. We're going to have a lot of fun in March. So stay tuned for that. I want to thank everybody in the chat. You guys lit it up again tonight. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate this. And we will see you Saturday. Mitch, stay right where you're at for one more minute. Everybody else, thank you. And have a great night and be safe. Peace.